Battleborn Injury Lawyers presents the Big 5 at 5. Number 5.
Coming up in less than 20, first posted betting numbers, like official posted betting numbers, based on a lot of the picks from the Kraken. I can't wait for John to tell you about that. And then Darren Waller, tight end of the Raiders, is up around 5:30. John, I don't know about your household, but I got to tell you, the return of the masking is not going over well in my house. I live with someone, it's my girlfriend, who is in a good mood like 99% of the time. She was on fire this morning. I'm like, if a customer gets out of line with her, someone's head is going to get ripped off.
Oh, like asking customers to do more of the masking? Because she works in an intimate environment.
She has to be masked up now, starting tomorrow again. No, I think it's more of customers coming in who don't have to wear a mask and then complaining and then, going on some kind of diatribe. I would be really careful around her right now. And I'm sure that's a lot of the service employees around Las Vegas who are livid. Now, who they're livid at, that's interesting. But we're back in it, China, at least through August 17th. It could be. You're right. It could be.
Sleepy Joe.
You guys okay?
Yeah, I mean,
it was uncomfortable this morning.
So we are actually, when we go out, we still mask up, like Target, things like that.
Throw on the cloth.
But it's also because we have had a minor scare, not for us personally. Yep. My stepfather got the Delta variant. He's fully vaccinated. He got it. Oh, right. Member of her family out in California got it, fully vaccinated. And Isabel's also pregnant. So we're just being extremely cautious when we go out, still wearing a mask, doing our thing, whatever. So, but I don't really mind too much.
What do you think this means for big events and especially sports? Like UFC's got 2 cards coming up this weekend and next weekend. Is this going to alter a lot of things? Are events going to be canceled? You're laughing. Oh,
that's serious. It's a serious question.
Yes. Yeah. I know. It's ridiculous, but
it's not going to affect anything. When it comes to sporting events, we're past it. It's done. It's over. Yeah. People are going to be out. Did you see the Deer District yesterday?
Oh my God, that was unbelievable.
They weren't even shoulder to shoulder. They were fused with one another. It was insane.
65,000 people.
So now you think the MMA community is going to be like, I perfectly understand this entire situation. I think I'm going to mask up for the safety of others around me. I can't even say it without laughing.
Number 4.
John, the votes are in. The picks around the Mountain West Football West. And Mountain. I always forget the name of the other division. Boise picked first in the Mountain. Reno, actually, a strong choice over San Jose State. UNLV, only 26 votes. Last place in the West. Outrageous.
Makes sense.
It does, based on the biggest question on the roster, and that is at the quarterback position.
Which is like every year with this team. It seems.
I don't know. I think they've gotten the years feeling a lot better. Well, maybe the fans. I'm not going to say Marcus Arroyo doesn't feel good about it because I actually think he does, because if he didn't, then he would have done something pretty obvious, and that is hit the transfer market. So he believes in these guys in this mix of quarterbacks. But that is the big question on the team, because I think they're better across the board at multiple positions. They've got a bell cow running back who is going to have a better year. They're going to be improved, but that position has to be at least serviceable.
You're right. And look, I want to be clear. Like, I think there are things to like about this team as well, right? You have mentioned Charles Williams, Kyle Williams, who was a freshman of the year last year in the Mountain West. Like, there are a lot of things to like about this team. I know you and I sat there together in the Fresno State game over at Allegiant last year, and I told you how much I've enjoyed watching Adam Plant play defense, right? There are a lot of things that I think there's to like about this roster from a personnel standpoint, but I'm just curious, when you look at the fact that you open the season with a very solid Eastern Washington team, when non-conference opponents include Arizona State and Iowa State, on your UTSA, who's going to be pretty good this year as well, right? When you take on conference opponents like the big boys, you get San Jose State, you get Nevada, you get San Diego State. When I look at everything across the board and the questions that we have about this team, you hope to see improvement on a game-to-game basis, but from a record standpoint, it might be a little bit more of the same. And it's going to take you really watching these games to see the improvement that this team makes, if there is improvement.
And you mentioned the rough part. You're coming out with a young mix at quarterbacks, inexperienced. and a team that's going to try to mesh with a bunch of transfers and freshmen, whatever you want to call them, redshirt freshmen, and then right out of the gates at Arizona State, home against Iowa State, Eastern Washington too, with dangerous spot there as well.
And my Lobos, you got to go on the road.
You love. Why do you love them? Just because of the effort last year, the surprise element of the Lobos a year ago.
So I'm going to say something that I think you're going to understand. My love for New Mexico.
There we go.
Danny Gonzalez.
Yeah,
he is my new Eric Musselman. I was so impressed. I was so impressed with New Mexico last year and what they were able to do, the competitive nature, everything in terms of working out in hotel ballrooms out here, playing at Sam Boyd Stadium, and still showing improvement and winning the last 2 games. And I like everything that there's a lot to like about that roster too. I'm in. Danny Gonzalez, my new Eric Musselman. I will be watching them.
Number 3.
We'll get to the title winner here in a second. Bucks win it. CP3 does not. Where's he going to get this title?
I mean, I don't think he's going to get a title. I think he goes back to Phoenix. Why wouldn't you?
Lakers, Clippers, Nets.
I mean, he could go to Phoenix. Why would he go to I don't think he's going to the Nets. I mean, so Denver's intriguing. No, I mean, Denver's kind of intriguing because they're good, but I just don't know if he gels with what they're doing, right? Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic, 2 ball-dominant guys in their own right. How in the world is that going to work with a guy like Chris Paul? But I think he just goes back to Phoenix. Why would you leave the team that made it to the NBA Finals? Now, I would personally argue that the road is going to be a lot tougher this time around. You are not going to be able to avoid Anthony Davis, Jamal Murray, and Kawhi Leonard again in a playoff run like they were able to do this year. But I don't know. I don't see why you don't run it back if you're the Phoenix Suns.
What do the Suns have to add?
I don't even think it's so much about adding. I mean, they need a little bit more depth, right? Their depth kind of killed them in this postseason. And look, Dario Saric getting hurt, that sucks. But you need a little bit more quality depth when it goes forward. But the reason they lost this series, Steve, was because of the way they play basketball, right? It's a jump shooting team. It's a team that relies on mid-range shooting that doesn't have a presence within 4 feet of the basket. And they got destroyed at the rim, both offensively and defensively. There's no answer for Giannis, so I guess you don't feel too bad about that. But the reason why they lost is because they are a team that is relying on mid-range shooting. When the offense got bogged down, Milwaukee was just snatching missed shots off of those rebounds and destroying them in transition. So I think it was just a symptom of the way that they played basketball. And unless Chris Paul is going to change the way he plays, if he's going to become a north-south attack off the bounce type point guard, then I think you kind of get the same result as you move forward.
Number 2.
Here we go. I'll read you an Arash Markazi tweet about the Suns next year. Do the Suns get past the Lakers with Anthony Davis? Now, this is about this year in the playoffs. Do the Suns get past the Nuggets with Jamal Murray? Do the Suns get past the Clippers with Kawhi Leonard? I feel like we've always got this but. Folks, this is part of the scenario, right? If you're the Lakers and you agree to trade lots of capital and make AD as one of your central figures, knowing his injury history, when he gets injured, you can't then go, oh, well, AD got hurt. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that's what you signed up for. And I'm not saying Kawhi Leonard, well, you didn't know he's a risk to freaking tear his knee, but he's missed a lot of games in his career. The Nuggets and Jamal Murray, that was, we didn't know that was going to happen. But these excuses, and I know you just said, hey, it's going to be a lot tougher to get through the West next year. The buts all the time about the teams that reach the finals, cut it out.
Yeah. Look, I think that I have been on record, and I have said it here, and I will say it again. If Kawhi Leonard is healthy, the Clippers are thrashing the Phoenix Suns. Absolutely. I say that without a doubt in the Western Conference Final. But it's not, you don't say it to take away from the fact that they won the games that they were supposed to. They won the series that they were supposed to, and they made it to the NBA Finals. And by the way, yes, they lost the finals, but they were up 2-0 for a reason over the Milwaukee Bucks in the NBA Finals. So to sit there and go, it doesn't count this run. No. Yes, it can be part of the story. I would agree with that. And when you bring up a conversation about the Phoenix Suns, and when we get past this point years and years down the road, sure, you can bring it up, but it's not to denigrate what they did. They still won those series. They still looked phenomenal at times throughout the postseason. I just think we do this all the time with all of these guys. And again, it's just, you won the title. So for the Milwaukee Bucks standpoint, it's theirs. But for the Suns, they won the Western Conference. Just let them have it.
Number 1.
So many myths debunked with the Bucks winning the title. What's your favorite thing that got debunked?
I just think everything about Giannis. That's my favorite stuff. Like Kendrick Perkins saying that, and many, not just Kendrick Perkins, he was the one of note, right? Saying that, now Giannis he's a Robin. You need another player. Maybe Chris Middleton's the best player on that team. He can close. He can create. Giannis isn't going to win things, right? You can't win with a post, all those things. No, Giannis was able to do it. Giannis is an incredible player. He is one of the best basketball players in the NBA now and of all time that we have seen. He's one of the greater players that I have seen in my lifetime. Again, in my lifetime, let's specify. He's fantastic. And everything around Giannis getting debunked and slammed to their face, I loved every second of it.
How about the smaller markets can't win a title?
Well, that too, right?
Love it.
No. Right, that's the other thing, right, too, because you get, Phoenix isn't a small market, but Milwaukee is, but you get Milwaukee Bucks in there against the Phoenix Suns.
Milwaukee, Minnesota, Sacramento, Memphis, Orlando. And by the way, some of those I'm mentioning are not small markets. Minnesota's not a small market, but it's like, the league is boring because those cities can never win a title. Bullcrap.
And here's the thing. What's the common thread about most of those other than Memphis? They are very poorly run franchises.
Yep.
It's not that they're small market. It's that the people that are making decisions have no idea what they're doing.
How would you feel in Sacktown right now if they'd actually taken Luka?
Right.
That's on you. That's not some limitation the market presents.
Oh, man, we're Sacramento. We can't take the transformative European player coming over from Eastern Europe. Like, come on, dude. What are we doing? So, that is the one. I will say, I'm going to push back a little bit on something. Because Giannis did the thing at the end of the game, we did this the right way, and he slammed the table.
I wanted to see if that annoyed you, because that annoyed me, because, especially non-NBA fans, haters, and some around, some of the hardcore NBA fans complain all the time about the super teams. I mean, he can say whatever he wants, but that was like one of the favorite things of a lot of fans after the game, and it irked me a little bit.
Yeah, because remember when they drafted Drew Holiday? I remember that fondly.
Exactly.
That was a lot of fun, right?
Right. We did it all on our own, except for the major player you added in a major trade.
But to be fair, Steve, when they drafted Bobby Portis, that was great too. I remember that one too.
Right.
But really, what took it away though? Brooke Lopez has been there for like 12 years, right? It's been great watching Brooke Lopez develop as a player into a key guy for the Milwaukee Bucks since they drafted him. They stop. Yes, Chris Middleton and Giannis Antetokounmpo were two guys that were acquired very early in their careers, specifically Giannis, where he was drafted and he was developed by that franchise. It is great. But stop acting like you didn't acquire a very massive piece to push you over the edge. You upgraded in an insane way, kicking Eric Bledsoe to the curb for Drew Bledsoe, and you shipped off a lot of pieces to do it. Let's pump the brakes.
Their big three make north of what, like $80 million combined, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
So that's the other thing. Like they make a lot of money. Now, here's the next step too with Milwaukee. This is not the little engine that could. Those owners are billionaires, and they were handed most of that arena for free.
Yeah.
Now it's time to act like a franchise like fans and media demand in those other places Milwaukee hates so much. Operate this thing like Giannis should win 5 of these. Mm-hmm. And if they don't win next year, then you go and add players of a super high level. I mean, if the mentality would be the same as some Laker fans, and now a lot may not want CP3, but immediately people are like, hey, we need to upgrade, or we need to go after Dame Lillard. That's the way the Bucks should be thinking.
Right. They should be operating like the Vegas Golden Knights.
Why wouldn't they? They're building this whole thing around multiple 20-somethings who are just going into their prime. Yeah, win multiple titles.
And here's the thing, bringing back the conversation to the asterisk and whatever. The Nets performed extremely well in the first 2 games of that series against the Milwaukee Bucks when they were relatively healthy. It's not to say that series plays out the exact same way as we watched the Phoenix Suns win 2 double-digit games in games 1 and 2 at home and then went on to lose the series. They're not that far away from Brooklyn. I think they are already better than Philadelphia at this point right now. So step on the throat.
Now.
Right. Now.
Because that's the other thing is those other places are not going to stand pat.
Of course.
And Dame Lillard is available. I'm not saying the Bucks should get him, but one of their competitors might get him, like Philly. And then it's a whole new ball game. I'll also let's pump the brakes on this one. Everyone becomes prisoner of the moment, and I'm actually maybe this was a troll job. I don't know what to believe and what not to believe with a lot of the big time radio hosts out there. We love the herd on the show. At least I'll speak for myself. He tweeted out last night, it's now officially Giannis league. Everyone else get in the back seat. He's driving it now. Stop.
I love Giannis, but
Kevin Durant's the best player in the world,
right.
and if his team is healthy next year, they're one of the favorites. Stop. He's not. And again, I don't expect. It's so funny. Again, prisoner of the moment. We're at the beginning of the Nets-Bucks series, and Kevin Durant is destroying the Bucks, and people are basically calling Giannis a pansy and a non-alpha because he was like, well, he's going to get his. He didn't say it like that. And now, a month and a half later, it's like, it's his league. Like, stop.
Correct. Yeah, I would agree with that. I love Giannis. I think he's one of the best players in the league, obviously, after what we just watched him do, especially after that injury. Kevin Durant is still alive and breathing, and and that team is still going to be favored to win this whole thing over the Milwaukee Bucks. We'll see what the Bucks do in the offseason, but this is still KD's league.
And both you and I are going to root real hard, and I don't know if offseason conditioning is going to make the difference, but James Harden's got to take the offseason very seriously. It's a short one. Don't get all lumpy. Figure out what's going on with injury issues, because if he's healthy, they're a freaking monster.
See, but I'm gonna argue a little bit here, only because all of a sudden James Harden is injury prone. Like, James Harden is an Iron Man. James Harden regularly plays in 70 games a year. James Harden is a dude whose usage rate is insane and plays a majority of seasons, right? And so now, because of 1 year in which he gets
it's kind of important, though. It's last year.
Right. No, I know, but I get that.
He ballooned up to like 240 pounds, had to get himself in shape.
Okay, but
there's no excuse for it.
Okay, so Kevin Durant pulled his hamstring too, was out for 2 months. Is he out of shape?
We know Kevin Durant's not out of shape.
Right. So what I'm saying is,
maybe saw what Harden looked like in Houston, and he was puffy.
He always looks like that, though.
He was extra puffy.
He always looks like that because Harden did what he did in Houston. All of a sudden, we want to find negatives.
What an apologist you are.
How am I an